Hey Sim Racers, Jake here from Inside Sim Racing. Today I'm going to show you how to auto-tune on your Simagic wheelbases in iRacing. For this test, we're going to be using the new Alpha Evo Sport as well as the Alpha Ultimate. We'll also share our settings in SimPro Manager for both bases. You may be asking, what is auto-tuning and why should you do it? In iRacing, you can use the auto feature to automatically set the force feedback strength to prevent clipping. Go to Options under Other Controls and find Auto Compute Force Feedback Force and pick a button on your wheel. From there, you can easily adjust it while driving. Clipping occurs when the sim requests more force than your wheel can provide, resulting in a loss of detail in the force feedback. The auto feature dynamically adjusts the force feedback strength based on the car and track, maximizing the available dynamic range while preventing clipping. Getting started, once you have the base you're choosing, whether it be the new Evo series or the original Alpha series, you'll need to head to Simagic.com. Go to Support and head to their download center and install the latest version of SimPro Manager 2, which is version 2.1.0 as of this video. We recommend pinning or keeping the app on your desktop for quick access to making changes. Load up SimPro Manager and take a look around, and get familiar with all the adjustment settings. SimPro can be daunting with the amount of settings and changes you can make. You'll see within the program each effect has a little bubble, with a question mark giving a detailed explanation as to what each effect does and how it makes changes to the feeling of the force feedback. This is where you should be making all of your big force feedback changes. The mechanical settings are huge as they act as dampers to the feedback to manipulate the in-game effects on the wheel. The vehicle settings, like wheel rotation speed, affect the stability of the wheel in relation to the tires and changes how fast you can react with the wheel. Feedback detail changes how much of that feedback is getting sent to the wheel, but be careful as having this too high and a lot of steering input can put a lot of heat into the wheelbase. We recommend using the iRacing preset as a baseline and then setting your force feedback in SimPro to 100%. Now let's go load up iRacing. When you get into iRacing, the first thing you want to do is go to Options and make sure under Options that under force feedback, the wheel force, Newton meters of torque, is set to the correct value of your base before you begin tuning. iRacing over the years has made quite a bit of changes to their force feedback. You'll see under the Force Feedback tab, you have options for strength, wheel force, intensity, smoothing, dampening, and minimum force. All of these have their own unique values and how they change the feeling in the wheel. You may want to start at 50% intensity on a base that has more than 12 Newton meters of torque. Now let's run some laps and see what kind of changes we want to make. I'll be using the Alpha Evo Sport, which has 9 Newton meters of torque, and driving the Aston Martin DB9 GT1 car at Brands Hatch. Darren will be using the Alpha Ultimate and driving the Dallara IR18 Indy car at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so we can show you the differences between the two bases driving two distinctly different cars. Just before you start running hot laps, press Alt+K to edit iRacing's built-in data black boxes, and drag your FPS counter, steering input, telemetry tool. We're going to use this to make sure our wheelbase is not clipping within iRacing. You will know if you are exceeding the limit of your base when you see the bar spike or stay in the red. Like I mentioned earlier, clipping is when it comes to force feedback. If you have your force feedback set too high for the capability of your wheel's motor, it will clip, and some or all of the effects may not come through to your wheel briefly during that moment when it clips. This is where your Newton meters of torque for your wheelbase matters. The higher the torque rating, the more forces your wheel can handle before it clips. Once you're all prepped, get out on track and press the F9 key to open this black box to prepare yourself for the Autotune feature. Go run some clean laps, and when iRacing has enough data, the auto feature in the bottom right of the black box will highlight yellow. Click on it and adjust the strength of the wheel automatically. Or press the button that you mapped for a quick change. This feature is very important for maximizing the power of your base, but also at the same time stopping it from clipping. Now that iRacing has set the strength, you can use the intensity slider to scale that strength to your liking. To note, changing the intensity slider will adjust the Autotune feature. Once you get past this step, we can get into SimPro Manager to start fine-tuning. I'm going to show you the settings that I personally use and work the best for me. You can either copy these settings or use them as a guide, whichever you prefer. First, I have my force feedback set at 100%, my limit strength at soft, my filter level at 5, my wheel rotation is set at 55, feedback detail at 13, 0 on dynamic prediction level, as I don't want predictive data depicting my wheel feeling. I set all mechanical to 0, except for friction, I leave at 15. And my slew rate control is set at 25. And here's Darren's settings for the IndyCar here. As you'll notice, SimPro might look a little bit different for you on the original Alpha series, but all of the same settings will still apply. These settings should really help wake the steering up in terms of a connected, visceral feeling from the car and the road. Don't be afraid to make changes or experiment with all the effects. But make one change at a time and drive it to see how it feels first. You can press Alt and Tab together on the keyboard to bring up SimPro and make your changes, then go back out on track to test. We hope this video has helped you get the most out of your Simagic base. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at info@simmotion.com or leave a comment. I'm Jake Snedden, thank you for watching, and see you next time.